Today we will discuss about the suboccipital triangle. Suboccipital triangle, it is the muscular space situated into the deepest plane of the suboccipital region. It is limited above, I will show you, it is the limited above by the inferior knuckle line. Here this is the skull and this is a external occipital protuberance. This is a superior knuckle line and this is a inferior knuckle line. So it is limited above by the inferior knuckle lines. Below it is extended up to the bifid spine and lamina of the axis vertebra, means C2 vertebra. Laterally it extends up to the mastoid process and transverse process of the atlas and axis vertebra. So now we will reflect the skin of the suboccipital triangle. Along with it we have reflected the deep fascia, and now you can see the muscles of the suboccipital region by the layer of the layer. First of all, suboccipital region, it is the deal when the orthopedic surgeon, which is deal when there is a disarrangement of the bone, joints and muscles of this region. Neurosurgeons, which is deal when there is a cisternal punctures and explore the posterior cranial fossa, particularly tumor of the occipital lobes of the brain. And muscle of this region holds the skull with the atlas and axis vertebra, and important role into the movement of the atlanto-occipital and atlanto-axial joints. So we have removed the skin, superficial fascia, and the first layer, it is a trapezius. This one is a trapezius, and here you can see this is the muscles. It is the sternocleidomastoid muscles. So this is the sternocleidomastoid muscles. After reflecting the trapezius, you can see here this is the splenius capitis muscles. Splenius capitis, it is the band shape muscles, so it is goes upwards and laterally. After the reflecting the splenius capitis, along with the here there is the one another muscle, it is the levator scapulae, which is goes upwards and medially, and this is the splenius capitis muscles. After the second layer, you can see there is a vertically the muscles fiber which is goes the, it is a semispinalis capitis, and on the lateral aspect it is the longissimus capitis muscles. Laterally we have not, but the semispinalis capitis which is goes vertically, while the longissimus capitis goes slightly laterally. After reflecting the semispinalis capitis, you can see the muscles of the suboccipital triangle. Here you can see this is the posteriorly and medially, posteromedially it is bounded by the rectus capitis. Superiorly and medially it is bounded by the rectus capitis posterior major, and this one is the medially small muscles, it is the rectus capitis posterior minor. Superiorly and laterally it is bounded by the superior oblique, or it is called the superiorly and laterally it is bounded by the oblique capitis superior, and inferiorly and laterally it is bounded by the oblique capitis inferior, or it is called the inferior oblique muscles. And the content of this triangle, it is mainly the, you can see after cutting the rectus capitis posterior major, you can see this is the artery, it is a vertebral artery, and between the vertebral artery and there is a arch of the C1, in between there is a emerging of the one nerve, it is the C1 nerve, the fiber of the C1. Here you can see these are the fiber of the C1, and the fiber of the C1 directly divide, and it supplies to the muscles of the suboccipital triangle, mainly the rectus capitis posterior major, rectus capitis posterior minor, Also, it is supplied by the oblique capitis superior, oblique capitis inferior, or it is called the superior oblique and inferior oblique. So these are the muscles which is innervated by the fiber of the dorsal rami of the C1. Always you have to remember, so the content are the fiber of the C1, vertebral artery, this is a vertebral artery, and there is a arch of the atlas. These are the content. Floor which is formed by the atlanto-occipital membrane, atlanto-occipital membrane and atlantoaxial membrane, which is the floor which is formed by the it is a floor of the suboccipital triangle. And always you have to remember the greater occipital nerve. Greater occipital nerve, it is the dorsal rami of the C2. It is the thickest cutaneous nerve, and this dorsal rami of the C2, which pierces to the semispinalis capitis as well as the trapezius, and after it becomes the cutaneous, and it supplies the skin up to the vertex. So this is the greater occipital nerve. Always you have to remember it is emerging just below to the oblique capitis inferior or inferior oblique muscles. And the third nerve, here you can see this is the dorsal rami of the C3. It is called the third occipital nerve. So this is the third occipital nerve, and it supplies the it is the cutaneous. It supplies the up to the inferior knuckle lines. So the content we already discussed. There is a vertebral artery, posterior arch of atlas, and there is a fiber of the C1 fiber. It is the content, and also there is a suboccipital venous plexus. Suboccipital venous plexus, it lies around to the suboccipital triangle. It is formed by the communication between the occipital veins, internal vertebral venous plexus, and emissary vein from the sigmoid sinus, and muscular vein and deep cervical veins. These are the veins which are inside the suboccipital triangle, and it provides the number of the alternative route for the venous drainage whenever any venous drainage channel which is blocked. So you have to remember suboccipital venous plexus, which is formed by the occipital vein, internal vertebral venous plexus, emissary vein from the sigmoid sinus, muscular vein and deep cervical vein. So the importance of this suboccipital venous plexus, it is the alternative route for the venous drainage whenever there is a blockage. Roof of the suboccipital triangle, mainly it is formed by the semispinalis capitis and laterally longus capitis muscles, which makes the roof. Mainly it is formed by the semispinalis capitis muscles. Now I will talk about the origin and insertion of the muscles of the suboccipital triangle. Now we will discuss about the origin and insertion of the muscles of the suboccipital triangle. This is the axis vertebra, this is the transverse process, and this is the atlas vertebra. It means there is a C1 vertebra, and this is the C2 vertebra, and this is the axis process of the C2, and this is the upper line, it is a superior knuckle line, and below it is the inferior knuckle lines. So the first muscle, obliquus capitis inferior, or it is called the inferior oblique muscles, which is arise from the spine of the axis, and it directed upwards and laterally, and it is inserted on the transverse process of the it is on the transverse process of the arch of the atlas vertebra. And action of this muscle, it rotates the atlantoaxial joint to turn the face on the same side. Oblique capitis superior, which is arise from the transverse process of the atlas to the it runs upwards and backwards and inserted into the occipital bone between the superior knuckle line and inferior knuckle line. The action of these muscles, both the muscles which together it extend the skull, and unilaterally it produce the lateral flexions of the skull. The rectus capitis posterior major, which arises from the spine of the axis, it goes upwards and laterally, and it is attached to the inserted to the base of the skull on the lateral part of the inferior knuckle lines and area below to eighths. This is the insertion of the rectus capitis posterior major. The rectus capitis posterior minor, which is arise from the spine of the atlas or posterior tubercle of the atlas, and it goes upwards and it is inserted on the medial side of the inferior knuckle lines. The action of the both the rectus capitis posterior major and minor, which extend the head, and all these muscles which is innervated by the fiber of the C1. We already discussed the clinical approach for the mainly neurosurgeon for the cisternal puncture and occipital lobe tumor intervention. They can approach from the suboccipital triangle, while the orthopedic surgeons, which mainly the any cervical disarrangement, the orthopedic surgeon will be interfere with the atlanto occipital or either atlantoaxial joints for the to expose the suboccipital triangle. So hope you enjoy the lecture. Thank you very much.